Get off my lawn, you damn kids. Curmudgeon Ale from Founders. That's what we're checking out this time, folks. Thanks for tuning into this beer review. I am the Mighty Plantain. Now, this one comes to me from a viewer request, and honestly, I'm sorry, I cannot remember who submitted it. I'm going to have to start keeping a list because I've got a handful of them and I'm starting to lose track. I used to be able to keep it all up here, but the list got too long and I went too long without being able to find certain beers. So, this is actually an old ale brewed with molasses and oak aged. Now, I'm a fan of anything that's been aged in barrels, so this should be pretty good in an old ale style. So usually pretty decent as well. Got some rich, complex flavors to them. Now, as I'm pouring this out, make sure to hit me up down below with a like and a share, and also subscribe. That way you'll get a notification every time I post a new video. Hopefully you're enjoying them, getting some value out of them, or at least taking some of the mystery out of your local beer cooler. So this has actually got a really interesting color. It mentions that it's brewed with molasses, and I can see that. It's almost got a maple syrupy color to it. Now, maple syrup isn't quite as flocculent as this. There is a lot of debris in there, which isn't necessarily always a bad thing. I've had a beer recently from Hidden Cove that I thought wasn't going to be so great, and the look of it actually put me off, and I think I took some points off of it from that, for that alone, but the texture and everything else wound up being not so bad, and I didn't even get the nastiness that I was expecting because of the flocculence. So this could be along in that same category, but I still usually just that stuff floating in it. It just takes something away from the experience for me personally. It's an aesthetic thing. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the beer. It's just a personal preference. I think maybe it reminds me too much of the old Orbit's fruit water, if you remember that. It was a fruit water with little bits of gelatin floating in it. It was just, it wasn't horrible tasting. It was just syrupy sweet, and then you get those little chunks of gelatin. And it's nasty. Like, ugh. Anyway, I think that's really why it puts me off. I just remember that. But other than that, the color is really, really nice. It's not very effervescent. There's not much coming up off of there. And again, it's just that flocculence is kind of off-putting for me personally. Maybe a bit of sweetness and a slight hint of oak, and just that fresh woodiness, but no nothing else really coming off of the aroma. Just sweetness and wood. It's a bit sour. Medium heavy mouthfeel. I'm willing to bet. Yeah, that comes in at 9.8%. That's the sourness I'm getting. It's that heavy ABV taste, and the closest thing I can equate it to is sourness. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've experienced it. If not, it's kind of something you got to check out and have a few high alcohol beers in order to really kind of get a taste for it. But I'm definitely getting some more wood notes, more of that oak flavor. Maybe a slight hint of sweetness from the molasses. Bit of bitterness, so there is some hoppiness to it, but not a lot. Very, very little, and just in the finish. Overall, it's a very solid beer. Again, that flocculence, the appearance is making it lose some points for me. I do like the fact that I get some of those woody notes from the barrel aging. They are kind of subtle and not coming through really strong. For me, this one's going to sit at a 3.5 out of 5. Now, bear in mind on that scale, a 2.5 is an average beer. So this one's a beer that I'm really enjoying. And again, aesthetically, it loses some points for the flocculence, and that's just a personal thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to enjoy the beer as much as I do, or possibly even more. I'm just enjoying the nice, heavy feel of it, and the woody notes that I'm getting from the oak barrels. But nothing else that's really jumping forward for me on this beer and is impressing me. But still a quite an above average beer, and it's very good. But it's definitely something you should check out for yourself. Take it easy with it almost being in the double digits. It's going to be one that hits you pretty hard. Hit me up down in the comments and the email link down below. Let me know what you think about this beer. I'll also put a quick user poll up over here. It'll give you a chance to rate the beer 1 to 5. I'm giving 5 options on the YouTube user polls, so I won't be able to do the half ratings, but just give it a quick click and rate the beer 1 to 5 and help me calibrate myself with the viewers, find out where you guys stand on it. Other than that, until next time, folks, cheers. A little while back, we did a bit of a comparison with the Not Your Father's Hard Root Beer review.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for the beer, man. So, highly recommended by you. The Extreme Beer Fest this weekend. We'll be able to get a hold of, I believe it's the American